Hello and welcome, Riot here today, bringing you the deck profile for my Ursarctic deck. I've used this deck a lot online on yugioh Pro and it's really fun to use. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be. A lot of people haven't really seen this, a lot of them have been online and like, oh, I've never seen this deck, I don't know what it does, but it's really fun. And it is quite good. You know, I have won quite a few games with it. I'm hopefully going to be doing some games on this deck online, so hopefully I can get that all sorted. So without further ado then, let's get on with the deck profile. Starting off then, 3 copies of Megapolar. All the Ursarctic monsters can be special summoned during the main phase by tributing a level 7 or higher monster from your hand, so they're really good to bring out because you can do it in your opponent's turn. And they all have different effects. Megapolar is, when it is special summoned while you control another Ursarctic, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's really good to disrupt if they've got a field spell and they need it on the field. It's really good to stop that. Next up then, we run 3 copies of Megabilis. Again, when you special summon this card while controlling another Ursarctic monster, you can actually target one of your opponent's cards in the graveyard and you get to banish it. So that's really good actually, that really can disrupt plays. Next up then, we also run 3 copies of the Mega Tannis. When this card is special summoned where you control an Ursarctic monster, you can actually target one of your opponent's monsters and turn it into face down defense position. So that's kind of good if you need to stop plays. If you can target them, you can disrupt the plays. And the good thing about them cards is they're all level 8 tuners. So with the level 7s then, we run 3 copies of the Micpolar, or Micpolar. When this card is special summoned, you can add an Ursarctic monster, from your deck to your hand. So that's really good to set up certain combos. We also run 3 copies of the Micabilis, and he's really good because when he is special summoned, you can also special summon another Ursarctic monster from your hand. So he's really good if you need to get something else out, like your Micpolar to add a card. And then we also run 3 copies of the Tannis. When he is special summoned, he can add an Ursarctic monster back from your graveyard to your hand. Now unfortunately they are all once per turn effects, but I think if there wasn't, it would be a little bit too combo-y and a bit too bad to play against. So I do agree with the hard once per turn. So with the monsters then, that's it for the Ursarctics. Next up then, for the non, we run 2 copies of Gamma Seal. I do run 3, but I run it in my side deck just in case I need them. But 2 I find is enough. Excuse me. And the reason why is because 1, you can use this for the tribute to summon out the Ursarctics. And 2, they're good to get rid of monsters. Stuff like Dragoon, Crystal Wing. A lot of people are running them. This card is brilliant to get rid of them. Everyone knows why Kaijus are good. So next up then, I run 1 copy of Danger Nessie and 1 copy of Danger Bigfoot. Now the only reason I run Nessie is because it's a level 7 monster, and same with Bigfoot, so I can use them to get out the Ursarctics. But they're also good because there's a certain extra deck monster in here that requires a level 7 monster, and Nessie just fits well. Bigfoot, I mainly go for the discard effect of being able to target a card on the field, face-up card on my opponent's field and destroy it. So that's why I run both of them. I don't run any more. We run 1 copy of Pankratops. Really good card still. Again, I can use it for the tribute, but you can also just tribute itself to pop a card, basically. I run 1 copy of the Dragon Phantasme, the Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. 1, if they have links on the field, he's really easy to get out. And 2, again, all these monsters I can use for tribute. So it's quite helpful. And then my last monster then, it's a bit weird, but I do run 1 of the Mongolacia, the Element Lord. The Ursarctics are waters. So he's actually quite beefy, and I can use him for the tribute as well. And he's really easy to summon. So that's it then for the monsters. For the spells, I run 2 copies of the field spell, the Big Dipper. Main point of this card. 1, if you're tributing, you can banish an Ursarctic monster from your graveyard. So that's really helpful once per turn. Also, when it has 7 counters on, each time a card is special summoned, you place a counter on it. And when you do have 7 or more and control an Ursarctic Synchro monster, you can take control of one of your opponent's monsters, so it is really helpful. I run 2 copies of Ursarctic Departure. I found 3 was just a bit too heavy. I seem to be drawing all 3 of them. Departure, you discard a card and you can add 2 Ursarctic monsters from your deck to your hand, which is really good because then you can just tribute one, summon out the one you need. Excuse me. Not sort of a cough and a sneeze, I do apologise. Also, as I was saying with this card, you can banish it for a tribute on a turn different from when it's sent to the grave. So that's really helpful. We do run 3 copies of the Ursarctic Slider. Quick play spell. It's basically a monster reborn. You can target an Ursarctic monster in your banished or in your graveyard and special summon it, but they can't attack. And you also destroy it during the end phase. But there's a certain reason why I run this card at 3. One, if you get the level 8 and you have a level 7, you can go into a synchro. But there's also another synchro I run in this deck that this card does help make. And there's 2 cards that actually help it. First of all, I run 1 copy of Ready Fusion, and I also run 2 copies of Instant Fusion. Now they're just in case I need them. I find 1 Instant Fusion and 1 Ready Fusion, I don't seem to be drawing them when I need them, but with the 2 Instant Fusions, I always seem to get 1. They're basically the same. You pay 1,000 life points. Instant Fusion is level 5 or lower fusion, and Ready Fusion is a level 6 or lower non-effect fusion. So they're basically the same, but there's only 1 card I actually run them for. Next up then, we run just 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, just in case. 1 copy of Mystical Space Typhoon. I know a lot of people don't run this, but I still do, because it's still quite helpful. I run 2 copies of Trading. A lot of these are level 8s. 1 copy, of course, of Monster Reborn, because we're sending a lot to the grave. 1 copy of Pot of Avarice. Same principle. We're getting a lot in the grave, and we can do with them back. I run 2 copies of Salvage. The reason I run this is your level 7 monsters are 1,500 or less attack, and you can add them back to your hand, and then just special summon them. So that's really actually helpful. And finally, 1 copy of Ayers Rock Sunrise, because the beast. So you can just add them back. It's basically just a lot of adding back to the hand, and then, or special summoning. So it's really, really good. So for the traps then, we only run 4 traps. It's 3 copies of the Quint Charge, the Ursarctic Quint Charge. Once per turn, you can pay 700 life points and activate the following effect. You can either add an Ursarctic monster from your graveyard to your hand, and then if you have something you can tribute in, special summon, or you can tribute 2 Ursarctic monsters even in face down, which is really good, and it basically lets you synchro summon equal to the difference. That's what this deck does. It doesn't actually normally synchro summon, it's actually a minus effect. And then we run 1 copy of Ishban, the waters. Most of the Ursarctic monsters are waters, so if you've got water, your opponent can't attack, because when the normal special summon, it goes to defense mode. So that's it then for the main deck. For the extra deck, I run 2 copies of the Ursarctic Septentrion or Trion. This is the main deck's boss monster, in my opinion, because it cannot be synchro summoned. That's the weird thing. It's a synchro, but it can't be synchro summoned. It must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a difference level of 7. So a level 1 and a level 8. And that's how this deck runs. And one has to be a tuner and one has to be a non-tuner. So it basically is a synchro, but it's a special summon. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters without a level. So links and XCs. That's really, really good. Like I said, Dragon Link I went against and I got this out and he surrendered straight off because he couldn't do anything. Which was really funny. If your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can add an Ursarctic card, not monster, an Ursarctic card, from your deck to your hand, and you can only use his effect once per turn. So he is really, really good for this deck. Next up then, I run 2 copies of the Grand Chariot. I have thought about putting in 3, I might put in 3, but for now I'll stick with 2. It's basically the same synchro purposes. It has to be synchroed with a difference of 7, a tuner and a non-tuner. If this card is special summoned, you can target 2 other cards on the field, destroy them. And then once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets an Ursarctic card you control, it's a quick effect, you contribute 1 monster from your hand or field and negate the activation. So that's really, really helpful. Next up then, I run 3 copies of the Ursarctic Polarer, or polar as I like to call them, the little level 1, that's how you go into your synchros. When this card is special summoned, you can activate the Ursarctic Big Dipper straight from your deck. So there's your field spell, it's already on the field. Also, you contribute 1 level 7 or... Go away, fly. I don't know why you just want to be in the video, sorry about that. Little fly that just appeared. Where was I saying? Yeah, you contribute 1 level 7 or higher monster. I do apologise, I've lost... It's because of that thing. Directly from you. Yeah, you contribute 1 level 7 and a higher monster, and then you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Ursarctic monster from your graveyard. Sorry, it was because of fly, it was distracted. So that's really, really helpful. Next up then for the other synchros, I won 3 copies of the new Stellar Wind Wolf Riot. This card is amazing. It's a level 9, so you can use Polar and a level 8 tuner. You can get it out, or do it with the instant fusion, as I'm going to explain in a minute. But this card is absolutely insane. I'm surprised they haven't actually picked up on this yet, of how good this card is. Because you can only control one of them once per turn. It gains 300 attack each time another monster's effect is activated. You're doing a lot of effects because you're special summoning. See, I figured out that when you special activate the effect of an Ursarctic to special summon it, it then gains its effect. That's 2 effects. That's 600 points already. And it can only keep gaining attack till it reaches 4,000. Once it does, once per turn, if this card's attack is 4,000 or higher, quick effect, you can shuffle both this card and all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. It doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it doesn't banish, it shuffles them back into the deck. It is brilliant. If you haven't got this card, please pick one up if you can make a level 9 synchro. It's incredible and I love it. So next up then, I want 2 copies of the Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion target, Alphen the Essence of Vanity, as I like to call him. It's a level 2 non-effect tuner monster. Use it with Instant Fusion, Ready Fusion, and the reason he's in here is because I have level 7s. He's a level 2 tuner. I can create my Stellar Wind Wolf really easy, and it's just really helpful to have. So the next 2 cards, and I keep umming and ahhing about which ways to do this, and I know when you activate the effect of an Ursarctic monster, you can't special summon monsters with levels. I forgot to mention that, but I'll do it now, because the last 2 is actually XEs, and there's this. I'm not going to try and say it's first. Volgothrix, the Darkness Dragon, Doom Rider. The only reason he's in here is if you can special summon 2 level 7s in your opponent's main phase, they can't do anything else. You bring up this card, you can use its effect to help the wolf, my Stellar Wolf, because you detach 2 materials from this card and target 1 face-up card on the field. Doesn't have to be your opponent's, it could be yours. Destroy it, and if you destroyed a monster, you can make 1 face-up monster you control gain attack equal to the destroyed monster's level or rank times 300 until the end of this turn. So it starts on 25, because you activate that effect, it goes up to 28. You gain 1200, so a level 4, you gain 1200 attack onto him, you can shuffle all your opponent's cards back into the deck. That's why he's here. That's the only reason. That, and he looks pretty cool. So with that then, that is the end of the deck profile. Like I said, it's not meta, if you want to call it that, but it's really fun. And it's probably one of my favourite decks I actually found. So as I said, with that, I'm ending this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below what you think of this deck, and what else would you say could improve it. And if you have played against it, also leave a comment about what you thought about going against this deck, or if you've used it, same again. Leave a comment, tell me what you think of it. Hit that like button for me if you like this deck profile, and as always, subscribe to my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And as I say in all the end of my videos, if you do subscribe, when I hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to start doing giveaways. So please hit that subscribe button, and as always, look after yourselves, take care, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you very much.